We are back outside. It's actually just about 90 degrees. I need to grab my water off the balcony. But happy Monday. It has been warm and it has been kind of our day of rest today, which has been kind of nice. Tomorrow I have a lot of stuff going on. Actually, a lot of this week I have a lot of stuff going on. But we took today as a downtime. This last week we had a big week of fellowship, just hanging out with friends and celebrating birthdays and all the things. My husband turned 37 on the 28th. So we celebrated him, which was fun, and he had some guy friends come over and were able to hang out. So that was a ton of fun, and it's just we have just been enjoying um, time. So I will say that the garden is growing like crazy. I did post, I'm on my husband's phone right now, and I'm checking out my phone to make sure, um, let's see, make sure I have all the chats showing up. And then I needed to make sure I didn't miss anything over on Instagram when it came to this post, and I didn't see anything come through for it. So, um, sticker responses. Okay, I think we are good. I don't think there is any responses for questions. So, I will say that I had a question in the community tab, so I want to jump into that. I don't have a lot of personal experience with it, but I've done a whole lot of research on it and helped friends with it, but I myself have not had a ton of personal experience on this. So the question was, do you treat blossom end rot on peppers the same way you treat blossom end rot with tomatoes, by adding calcium? So I think, so for me, I want to get down to what blossom end rot is, a lot of the key causes, and then how I go about stopping it from starting. I have had blossom end rot on my tomatoes in the past, um, and what I did about that, I'll tell you. I haven't had it on my peppers yet, but I haven't had a whole lot of issues, knock on wood, with blossom end rot. So, because I figured out the main causes of it, and I try to avoid that happening. So, blossom end rot is caused by a lack of calcium in the plant. So, people automatically think that they need to add calcium to the soil because the plant doesn't have calcium, but that's not necessarily what the issue is. Um, it's kind of the same concept of, you can, kind of why a human has lack of calcium. There's different reasons for it. So in plants and in the soil, you can have calcium in the soil, and there's something stopping the plant from absorbing it, or it'll start to absorb it and it's not traveling all the way through the plant, or you just have a lack of calcium. Um, so one of the biggest causes of blossom end rot for that lack of calcium inside the plant is inconsistent watering. So if you have like a ton of rain, or you're watering really regularly and then it gets super hot really fast, and then your plants go for a longer period of time struggling, um, or it's way wetter than normal and so they're getting way too much water, all those things can cause calcium to start to be absorbed into the plant, and then it stops and it doesn't keep traveling through the plant. So consistent watering is key to stop blossom and rot. Um, so that's my number one advice. Now, a lot of people will add Epsom salt to help with blossom and rot. Now, they say that a lot of people have the misconception that that's adding calcium to the soil. It's not, it's adding magnesium. And magnesium will help the plant to utilize the calcium that's in the soil. So sometimes that'll be helpful. So if there's another issue, if you're watering consistently, same amount for the periods it needs, and its moisture is pretty consistent throughout the day and throughout the week, then maybe it is a nutrient issue in the soil. So in that case, you're going to want to watch your pH. And I would say if it's not inconsistent watering, do some extra research on when to add magnesium, so the Epsom salt, and when to add lime, which has calcium in it. And um, the treatments will vary depending on the pH of your soil, because adding those nutrients is going to change your pH level. So sometimes you actually need to add calcium to the soil, and sometimes you need to add magnesium. Sometimes you just need to figure out watering. So that's my biggest tip, and the watering is my key thing that I look for with blossom and rot. And why I really try to watch whether it was in containers. So I got them when I was growing in containers, and I lived in Zone 9B in California at the time, and it was super hot. And so I learned that I couldn't skip watering. Sometimes my containers needed watering twice a day when it was super, super hot out. Sometimes it needs watering one time a day when it's just a little bit hot out. Sometimes it needs watering every couple of days. And so um, I had to learn to make sure I'm sticking my finger in the dirt, or you can get one of those soil testers where it has the prongs and you put in, and it'll tell you the pH, it'll tell you the moisture level, and I think it'll tell you the light, if it has enough light or something like that. So you can get a tester like that if it's harder for you to get down and do the finger test. And you don't want to just check the top of the soil, you want to check like this far down, like get your finger in there and see what it is where the roots are getting water from. So those are my big suggestions when it comes to blossom and rot. I do want to flip the camera around really fast and show you the garden. I didn't clean my husband's lens though, so hopefully it focuses out there. But it is growing. We're to the top. It is growing to the top right now of the archway. The tomatoes are just about, they're like 6.5 to 7 feet tall. Things are growing. I'll probably be doing another garden tour this week because things have just exploded. We're going to be doing a harvest coming up here for sure, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to be harvesting some greens to actually dehydrate, to work on a green powder for winter use. And then we have some peppers and I think some other little things that need to be harvested, like radishes and stuff like that. So I'll be having a harvest coming up. I'll be doing a garden tour. I'm starting to see little tiny green beans, so I'm super excited about that. And there's just lots happening out here. Now, the other title for this live is Christmas in July. And I want to talk about why I really start thinking about Christmas in July. Now, I actually started thinking about Christmas like right after Christmas, but for me, I like to gift a lot of handmade things. So right now, if I haven't started making my list and assessing who I'm going to be gifting to and kind of what things I want to start making so I can gauge my time frame, um, I will be in trouble come December. So I want to make sure that I'm utilizing my downtime well and figuring out what I'm going to make this year. I have things that I'm going to have to ship. I have more people here that I'll be gifting to. What I'm going to bake, what I'm going to craft, what I'm going to mix. So if you are planning on making gifts, whether you're doing like skincare stuff, like I think what a fun gift for friends or family members is lip balm, whipped body butter. You can do the hand soap refill. You can do all kinds of things. And so lip scrub and make this cute little basket of homemade goodies and that they get to use, homemade skincare. Other things like I shared, I think on the last live that I was working on scarves and beanies. Some of those things will be for me, but some of those are for gifts. And then there's also like embroidery or cross stitch items that I like to do. Um, there's just lots of options. And so, really going through, oh, and baked goods, obviously. So, really going through and starting to plan out what I'm going to need and supplies I'm going to need and how long it's going to take me to do these things is something that I start now. I will say I have worked retail for many, many years, and retail never killed Christmas for me. But the last couple of years, I have struggled more around Christmas because of the huge transitional, pivotal points um, that we were that we were in. And I think this year will be another emotional Christmas. But I am, oh, it'll be fun if we have a white Christmas this year. Um, but I think for me, um, we've just had a lot of my daughter growing up, being 18, doing her thing, custody time ending, regular rotations and transitional things ending, and new things starting. Now we're in a new place. We kind of knew last Christmas was going to be our um, last Christmas for sure altogether. And it kind of shifts when you don't have little kids the same way anymore and the excitement and all the things. One of the things that I love about Christmas, though, is being able to share love and being able to have people feel seen and appreciated and loved and know that they're thought of. And so for me, handmade gifts, being able to give a handmade gift is um, like amazing at Christmas time for me. I want to say it's like the epitome of Christmas joy is like I put my heart into soul into something and give it and gave it, and then receiving gifts is great, but the ones that have a lot of thought behind them and a lot of um, that inside connection and where somebody got like me, those are always my favorites. And so that's something why I focus earlier on in the year, making sure that I'm really thinking about stuff. This year, we've been building new community and things like that. So I want to make sure I have extra stuff as well. That way as we add community, I have things that I'm not like, oh, I want to make this for somebody, but I don't have the time. So I want to have a few extra things on hand. Um, but yeah, we're really starting to get excited. I've got a box started that I can start making things and doing things and getting it set aside. So that's the other big thing that is starting since it is July 1st. We are really starting to refocus and get organized when it comes to that. And that is a great thing to do in the heat of the day when you can't be outside, is doing stuff inside. But there are things that now you'll be growing that you want to harvest and dry for gifts. So if you are growing calendula, you can totally dry the calendula flowers, steep it in oil, and then create a calendula salve as a gift. You can dry pressed flowers and create something with that. You can create your own herbed salts. You can create different flavored sugars or whatever. Starting early in the year, making vanilla extracts. You still have time to make vanilla sugar. I have videos on a lot of this stuff. And starting now, thinking about those things, useful gifts that people would like that are also something that can be like those specialty salts and specialty sugars are expensive, and a lot of people don't splurge on them when you go to buy them at the store, but they're very inexpensive to make. It just takes the know-how and putting the effort in to do so. So this is the time you're growing all the Italian style herbs or things like that. And so I think it's a great time to take stock of what people that you love like to use, eat, do, whatever, and figure out what it is that you want to work on. And I think it's also important to incorporate that into your garden plan throughout the year is going through and going, I want to make a bunch of this and gift it. And let's say you have somebody that you know loves chamomile tea. How amazing would it be to gift a jar full of dried chamomile that they can, with some tea bags, and they can um, fill their own tea bags with the chamomile that you grew in your garden. Or maybe you're growing a bunch of peppers and you're going to make hot sauce and gift that, or pepper jelly, or cucumbers, or whatever it is. Like, know the people around you and what they like and what they would appreciate. And this is a great time to start utilizing what you have in the garden. Um, if you have huge zucchini, take that zucchini, shred it up, 2 cups per bag, and freeze it flat. And when it comes to Christmas time, you can make a bunch of zucchini bread, or the chocolate zucchini bread or whatever, and that's a great gift as well. All that kind of stuff. Like, there's so many things that you can prep now and have things ready. And a lot of people are like, oh, I have so much zucchini in the summer, but you could be storing that and getting it ready to use for the winter when you're going to be like, oh, what can I make and give as a gift? Or we have this get together, what can I serve or bring as a hostess thing or whatever. So those are just some ideas that I thought I would pop out on here, because it is something that I'm starting to really, really focus on, because all of these things take time. And I don't want to crochet a million days in a row. I like to crochet a little bit, then I'll stop, I'll embroider a little bit. I will do a whole day of skincare stuff or baking things or whatever it is. So that's kind of what I had to share today. It's still really hot out here. So I'm actually going to go back in the house and cool down a little bit. Um, But I would love to hear your thoughts, some of the things you're working on and planning already for Christmas. And also, if you have your tried and true things for Blossom and Rot, some of the things that you like to do. Um, yeah, that's just one of the topics that was asked about, so I thought I'd touch on it because it's a pretty popular issue right now, as everything's starting to come in the garden. So that's it. We'll see you on videos on Wednesday and Friday. I hope you have a great 4th of July. And we'll be back for another live on Monday, next Monday. So make sure you set the clocks for that, and we make sure you turn your notifications on. And if you have topics, you can drop them in this video for next week, or you can drop them in the community tab under the post. We will see you on the next one. Thank you for joining.